getting so good at this. Okay, welcome everybody. This is the coach and the counsellor in crop tops doing our next episode.
So the reason we're wearing crop tops is that I believe that if every body shape was shown in the media or sold to us in marketing in the real world, then we would have a lot less self-loathing, and I think would do things for the reason of making us feel better rather than from doing things for a space of hating ourselves because we don't look like people that have been shown to us that don't even look like that, you know?
Exactly. So this is our contribution to a body positivity movement that is embracing of diversity. I work out, she works out, we look completely different, and we're both into working out. So we both have athletic bodies even though we look really different.
Exactly.
So in this episode, we're going to talk about habit change, habit and behaviour change, and we're going to be sharing with you 6 tips, 3 from a counsellor's perspective, 3 from a PT coach's perspective, and we're going to collaborate on this. But you're going to go first with your 3,
yes,
and we'll go from there.
So Zig Ziglar, who was a amazing I guess motivational speaker in the 70s, 80s. He came up with a few different ways of how to be successful in the workplace, and one of his models was called Be, Do, Have.
Be, do, have. Yep.
That's very much about behavioural change. So often...
Sorry, I got distracted. There's 3 hot men running out the front. That's why I was just trying to...
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. We just need
there's
a short
CrossFit
break.
over there.
Oh,
so...
there's CrossFit going on. Hey! Okay, be, do, have. Be, do, have.
Okay, so Be, Do, Have model is about who do you need to be to do the actions you need to take to become the person or to get the thing that you want to get. So in relation to, I guess, weight loss would be an easy one. What's the identity you need to take up? So who do you need to be to take the actions to have the thing? So in weight loss, often it's focusing on the thing, which is fat loss, and not doing the actions, or doing the actions but then not having that self-identity to continue to do the actions and falling back into the same habits and patterns.
Is it like more preparing to get to the goal rather than just focusing on the goal? You've got to think back a few steps to get there?
It is, but if you don't change the way you talk to yourself and the thoughts that you're thinking, then when things get hard, like, because life is going to get in the way 5,000%. So when things get hard and you haven't changed who you are, you will fall back into your old patterns.
Yeah. So we've got to plan for that before. We can't just think about the end goal. We have to really think about the hard days, you know, the everyday days that get in our way, and sort of make a plan.
And because then if you go from example, my identity is, oh, I'm not a fitness person, or oh, I'm not good at exercising. If you change that identity to I train and I enjoy training, or the gym is part of my routine, then even when life gets hard, you're just like, I'm still going, like, even though it doesn't feel okay, or I don't want to, but because I'm a fitness person, or because I've just bought new clothing, or, you know.
I really like that because I've had an identity shift around being an athletic person recently, and one of my mindset issues I had to get over was maybe I'm just going through a phase and I'll fall back on it. But when I commit to being athletic and committing to this as part of my life, I embrace it more of a constant or sustainable identity change rather than, oh, I'll just give this a go, and if it works, it'll work, and if I fall off, it doesn't matter. I'm like, because no, this is part of me now.
You give yourself an out.
Yes,
so if you're just trying something, you've always got an out because, oh, it didn't work out. I tried, but it didn't work.
Yeah, and that's wasn't for me.
That's because you didn't fully commit. So there's a massive difference between trying, which is, if you say you try, you're making excuses, because if it's important to you, it will happen.
Yeah.
Like,
Love that.
The way I see it.
Love that. Great. Yeah. So be, do, have. Love that. Okay, so be, do, have is your first 3 tips. I'm going to talk about 3 different tips from more of a counselor or mental perspective. So the first one is intention. I want you to set an intention that is sustainable, that is nourishing, and that is something you can come back to time and time again on the hard days, when you've fallen off track, when you're going through this recalibration of your identity process. Think of the intention, and that's different to the goal.
How do you bring more intention, or how do you create more intention? How does it start?
it's about setting something that is so specific to you and that it's not trying to copy what someone else does. Okay?
So true to your values.
Very true to your values, true to what you want, and it's something that can also be achieved every day. So a goal is someone wants to squat 100 kilos. Okay, I did not choose a weight loss goal. Notice that, people, wasn't a weight loss goal. So I want to squat 100 kilos. That's a goal, but I can't do that every day.
No.
I can't, that's my long-term goal. So my intention has to be, I'm going to show up for my health and exercise every day so I feel good. So, I can do that every day.
Yeah, and it's almost, I guess, something similar would be breaking maybe that bigger goal into small daily actions.
Yes.
And bringing an intention into those actions.
Yes. So that even if you don't reach your goal, even at the end of it or when you thought you would, my intention is still achievable. Okay, so I want to make health and fitness a part of my life. I want to challenge myself. I want to be proud of myself. They're good intentions that at the end of every day, if you stick to your smaller goals, you'll get to it. Whereas when you've got a goal that's going to take you 6 months, you can lose motivation really easily if it's not aligned to an intention.
Yeah.
So kind of integrating the goal and the intention. And also your intention can be achieved even if you never meet your goal. Okay, so at the end of this year, I may never be able to squat 100 kilos, but has my intention to foster a healthy lifestyle or change my identity or be proud of myself, has that been accomplished? Absolutely.
And then I'm sure you'd be able to see the progression as well.
Yes.
And then that's aligned with expectations, because often our goal is probably a little bit further away from what our expectation is. And I guess that's when people can fall or get disheartened and maybe stop.
Yes.
And then that's why you want your identity change, because you're not going to stop.
Yeah.
And then reflection comes into that as well.
And it also helps you get out of bed, you know, for you early in the mornings. What time do you get up to start training?
4:30.
Okay. Yeah. She posts, when I see you on Instagram, it's like 6 hours ago, and I'm like just opening my eyes. I'm like, oh my goodness, you've had a very early start to the day. So you have to get up for clients, but on the days you don't feel like training, what is the thing that you come back to that's like, no, come on, Sarah, get out of bed, go do it, push yourself?
Honestly, it's an absolute no-brainer, and it has been because I've made it a non-negotiable. When you don't give yourself an option, and then it becomes a habit. And I know that because I started in the gym when I was 16, and if I didn't go, I'd feel really bad. Like I would just be like, I'd probably feel better. So it's that self-talk to be like, I know that after a workout, I feel so good, and I might feel a bit like I want to sleep in, but I know I'll feel bad for it. That's what goes through my mind.
So you're preparing for a competition. We know your weight goals, you know, the PBs you're looking for. What's your intention for competing? Why are you bothering to compete?
Is just to challenge myself.
Great, that is great. So she has PB weight goals in mind, but her intention is to challenge herself. Love.
And I'm not going to win the competition, not even come close. So it's not about that. It's just challenging myself and being true to, I've spent like the last 12 weeks going to bed on time, not drinking alcohol, like focusing on my nutrition. And because I can say that at the end of when I do my comp, that I've done all of that, then that's going to be the best outcome, and I'm proud of myself for doing
What
that.
time do you have to go to bed to get up at 4 a.m?
8:30.
No wonder she never replies to my texts after 8 o'clock. Okay, so intention is your 4th tip, and my 2nd tip is tolerance. You have to practice tolerance to the uncomfortable things. You are not going to get to your goal or your habit change in a breezy way, otherwise it's not a challenge, or you would have done it already. So you have to practice tolerance to those early mornings, to pushing through the pain, to okay, fine, I'm having veggies again tonight, not Red Rooster. You have to push through those tolerance. There's some more practical things, but emotionally, and this is what I want to talk about from the counsellor perspective, you have to push through or develop a tolerance to emotions or states of being that are really uncomfortable.
And I guess that, in the fitness world, it's the magic happens outside of your comfort zone, and 100%. But even from a perspective for your life, if you get comfortable doing uncomfortable things, it makes you way more resilient.
Yeah,
because life is not easy, and it's never going to be easy.
Yeah.
But if you can cope with all of the stresses and shit that happens, then and cope in a better way, then...
Well, this is why not everyone goes to uni. Not everyone competes in a competition. Not everyone can be a business owner. Don't get us started. Okay, there's a lot of things you have to push through, so not everyone can do it. So when you're moving towards a different habit or an identity shift, there's some feelings that you're going to have to learn to tolerate, more specifically within getting out of your comfort zone. And that may be that you feel incapable, you feel weak, because now you're upping your weights, and so you don't feel like the big fish in the small pond, you know, at your local YMCA or whatever. You're challenging yourself if you're stepping up the class. You're going to feel vulnerable. If you turn up to a new class, or you're trying a new thing, or, okay, I'm always good at weights, but I need to try Pilates now for stretching or whatever, you're going to feel vulnerable and you're going to feel nervous. So there's just a couple of examples there of things that you need to build tolerance to on the way to breaking your habits. Yeah. And also, when you're changing your diet, there's a lot of emotions involved in that. The quickest way to find out if your emotions are tied to your eating is to think, okay, if I couldn't eat the snacks I want, or the foods I habitually eat that aren't that great for me, what would I feel if I wasn't able to eat them or someone took them away from me? You may feel irate, you may feel anger, you may feel lonely, you may feel bored, and they're the emotions that you're going to need to practice tolerating to implement the new habit changes.
And it's very much not about running away from those things, because it's easy when we feel uncomfortable to run away or distract ourselves. But
we're filming an episode. We're a big deal.
Jesus. And you had to move to the
Great lighting. Yeah.
Thank you.
We've just taken over the office
Yeah,
from our
pretty
boss.
much.
So it's really leaning into those emotions, and often I like to ask myself, when did I first feel those emotions associated with that food? Because bringing it back to, or even anything that makes me feel, you know, vulnerable or sad or upset, when did I first associate that thing with that emotion? And then you can work through, okay, the trigger was when I was 8 years old and my parents would, you know, leave at like 9 o'clock at night and I'd be scared or something. You know, and then you can kind of bring that awareness and be like, oh, okay, well, I'm an adult now and I can deal with this and I can soothe myself in other ways.
Sounds like you've been hanging out with a counsellor.
Maybe.
My last tip, and the 6th tip for you today, is to celebrate, okay? Don't only celebrate when you reach the goal that you have for 6 months. Celebrate weekly, celebrate all the time.
Small wins create massive change.
Yes.
And it's the small things that you can build that self-confidence as well, because you're just like, good on you for getting out of bed. Like, it's the positive self-talk, and that's what builds momentum and builds the big goals.
That's it. And it doesn't have to be that you buy yourself something or you spend money or you have a good snack. It's literally a mental habit of celebrating yourself. So when you get to the gym, as you go, good on you, you got here. We'll just give it a go, good on you. When you finish, well done for coming here. You added 2 kilos to your weights. Well,
do you know
done.
what? It's like if you've ever had a partner or you've got a husband and you want them to do something, you positively reaffirm when they do things. It's like even with a dog, you give it treats when it does good things. It's the same. You're giving yourself positive affirmations. And particularly in the beginning of your journey. So the first class you go to that's different, the first time you don't have that snack, the first time you try something new or you turn up somewhere where you feel really nervous, that is where you need to triple up on that dose of internal celebration, because that's going to help you get over the humps in the initial few phases as you're starting to practice habit change. Okay? That's cool.
We are the counsellor and the coach in crop tops. This has been our episode on habitual change. There's a queue of people trying to get back into the office, so we will wrap it up there. We love to know your feedback if this was helpful, and give us suggestions for next week's topic. DM us some questions. I personally love when you send a little question so that I can think more specifically.
Me too as well. And if you want to follow Gabriella de Mori, she's got a website and heaps of free meditations on the Kicksfit app, which is a free app.
Lots of good stuff for behavioural change. Instagram is gabriella.de.mori, M-O-R-I, or Facebook, Sarah Conlan Strong Girls Club on Insta and Facebook. We would love to see you there. Have a great weekend. Bye.